with the devastation that we faced last year, October, in the Western North Carolina with the flood and everything. How did you got involved in helping?
I almost lost my car in a car accident in 2016, which was terrible.
Sitting here, sitting in my house and comfort in my couch, I can donate money. But what you are just doing, what you just said, bringing smile, talking to them, eating with them, that takes you to another level.
It changed my perspective on my life. I have a house, I have a car, I have everything I want.
So good to see you. Welcome back to another episode of Midday with Ranjay, stories of resilience and reinvention. Today's guest is someone I met shortly after I moved to United States back in 2016. And honestly, from day one, it felt like I have known this guy for decades. That's the magic of Hans Hilgenstock. He's got this rare blend of warmth, wisdom, and the attitude of let's get the things done with the right dose of German efficiency. Hans has spent over 35 years in logistic leading teams at DHL Global Forwarding and Quinn Nagel, and now he's building something new as Director of Business Development at Cargo Modules right here in Queen City, Charlotte. But if you think this episode is all about shipping container and customary paperwork, think again. Hans is also known as the unofficial German mayor of Charlotte, always rallying the international community, welcoming new families, and serving on more boards than I can count. He's even got an award to prove it, like the Mayor's International Community Award and the International Corporate Citizen of the Year. But here is the part that really gets me. Hans has been spending nearly every weekend for the past 6 months in the mountains of Western North Carolina, helping families recovering from the last year Hurricane Helene. No press, no spotlight, just heart. In today's conversation, we will talk about making the leap from Germany to United States, what it really feels like adjusting to a new country, navigating the failure, finding purpose, leading with kindness, and building the community, one relationship at a time. Let's go and meet Hans. Hans!
Hey, Ranjay, what's going on?
Good to see you.
Good
How
to
are
see
you?
you, my friend. All good?
All good, all good. How have you been?
Good.
Good?
Another day in paradise.
I know. All right, Hans, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. You have no idea. I'm so happy. I'm so glad to meet you here. How has been your day so far?
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. Ranjay, I was excited all day, and when you told me, I was like, dang, let's do this.
Now, you have a perfect story, and that goes absolutely with the theme of my podcast, which is story about resilience and reinvention. And when I was making a list of the speakers that I need, you were in my top 3 list. I can tell you that.
Thank you.
Because I was just telling my audiences during the introduction that you're one of those person that I have met with those rare quality where when I met you for the first time, you don't make somebody feel like a stranger. It feels like as if I know you from the past 1 decade or something like that. I don't know how you get that, but that's something that I'm also trying to learn from you.
Thank you for the kind words, Ranjay. Thank you.
Wonderful. So let's get started. I've got a bunch of questions here because I don't want to miss out a great opportunity of asking you questions. So let's start with the early years and the moving countries. And you are from Germany, that we all know. Your love for beer, your love for this place. It's a testament. But what I really want to understand that, talk about your life in Germany. What made you move from Germany and come to US? And what are the changes? I mean, I'm sure it was a difficult ride for you, but if you could just throw some light, what made you take that difficult decision?
So in 1993, I spent 3 months in the United States between my job and my studies. And I just fell in love with this country, mainly Americans, because they're always happy. If they have problems and they have 1 hour to talk, 5 or 10 minutes to talk about the problems, the rest they talk about something more fun, more pleasant, positive, right?
I know.
And I just felt like when I go back to Germany, it was negative. so much negative talk. If it rains, they complain about the rain. If the sun shines, they complain about the hot. So I just felt like I want to live in Oceanside, California, where I spent about 2 nights, 3 days on my trip from Seattle all the way south to San Diego. And I put in my little diary, I want to live there one day.
No.
And 8 years, 2 days later, I moved there with a pregnant wife, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and $1,870 in my pocket.
What was the exact amount?
$1,870.
My God.
My first car was $1,820. So
you left with $50.
My family was still back in Germany. That came a little bit later because I had to do house hunting, which is one of the big challenges.
Yeah.
So the first 2 weeks I lived off $50
Oh, wow.
by myself.
Yeah, so you're a risk taker, but you are also somebody who actually follows your heart and then the brain follows, right? Do you think from your heart or do you think from your brain? Or it's a combination?
I'm a very emotional guy. I can cry in front of a TV. I can cry if I see something funny or happy. Yes, I'm very emotional, but I can also be very, very logical. We will talk about this maybe later, but
sure.
Certain moments you have to forget the emotions. You got to get it done.
True.
Get a solution for the problem, for the challenge. So I can do both, but even if I'm in the colder business logic mode, I'm still emotional. I just love life.
So let's talk about living in America. You said 1993, right?
1993, 3 months.
Okay.
And then
But when did you move
2001,
there?
2001, I moved to Oceanside, California. And it was a
So
change.
what was the hardest part? I understand, people here are generally happy, very positive environment, but what was the hardest part adjusting to a new culture, new language? Were you familiar with, how good were you with English? Because in Germany, English is the second spoken language. I mean, German would be the first. So, what was the hardest part adjusting to this country? And what surprised you the most here?
So I lived 3 months here. For 3 months, I experienced everything. It looked so similar, right?
Okay.
Driving on the right side, we had US dollar, everything looked so similar. When I moved here, I realized there's a lot of differences. Health insurance, bank systems, all these little tiny things, right?
Yeah.
It's so different. And I burned money, I burned nerves, I burned time because I didn't understand about all these differences. There's bank, health insurance.
Yep.
My son was born June 14th in Oceanside, California. And here I'm getting all these bills. And I didn't understand that this is just a bill and you wait till the health insurance is paying for it.
Exactly.
And I basically told my wife, honey, we're bankrupt. We're done. So I didn't know about these things.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So these are shock.
Yeah.
You're just, what?
Yeah, no, but that's so true. I mean, when I came here from India, it was a different culture. It's like chalk and cheese. So I can totally resonate. But your situation was even more, I would say, different because you were coming with a pregnant wife and 2 little kids. So I can imagine, what you were going through.
It was definitely a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
And there's so many little tiny things also, but when you put it all together, it's tough. And now I've helped probably 40, 50 expats when they come to the United States. I help them with, literally, I grab their hand and bring them to the DMV so they can get the license done. I grab their hand and bring them to the bank. I explain to them how the bank here works.
Okay.
I tell them about, hey, don't get shocked if you get the first bill from your hospital or from your doctor. Don't worry about it, you know? So I've done this quite a bit, and I always tell them 2 things, very important things. A, never compare. Because guess what? When I moved to Oceanside, San Diego, paradise, right?
True.
California, beach, Pacific, sun, it was paradise. And I only complained about the banks, the health insurance. I complained. I looked at the negative stuff. I was still a German. And I still remember at one point, I just wanted to check if my wife is all in with America. She's born in Germany, but she's Turkish background. And she left everything behind, family. I want to find out if she's really all in. And I told her, look, honey, this is ridiculous. Let's go back home.
Okay.
And I still remember she was cooking something in the pan. I think it was bratwurst. She turned around and she looked at me and said, you know what, hon? You can go, but I'm staying.
I'm staying here. Oh, wow.
So that was it.
Oh, yeah?
We stayed.
That was your litmus test, right? And okay, wonderful. Now, how did you get into this logistic? You've been in logistic industry for what? 30?
Forever. Since I'm 19.
So was it planned? Was it accident? How did you get into it?
My dad wanted me become a banker. I saw the bank people, suits and white shirt, and it was dead in the office.
It looks so fancy, right?
Not doing that.
Yeah.
And then a good friend of mine I played tennis with, he was in logistics. And
Okay.
He took me on he was escorting a huge shipment and something went wrong. It doesn't matter all the details. But I thought, man, this is cool. And then he talked about, the global connection he has. He was traveling around the world. I said, man, I like logistics. And I did my apprenticeship program, 3 years in Germany. Then I worked for 2 years. Well, that's not true. I worked for 1 year. And then I went to a private university and did my MBA. It's faster, you pay for it, but it's faster. So at the end of the day, you're making earlier money.
Right.
That was my dad who was smart. So I did this, and I never left the industry because it's every day something different, and it's so exciting.
And especially times like this when a lot of news talking about tariffs, and I'm sure it's keeping you busy. But that's a discussion that we can have for some other day, maybe at the happy hour here. But let's talk about your career and handling failures and how did you overcome those. So after decades in big logistic firm, I see that you recently made a shift to build something new with cargo modules, right? How did that change happen?
So let's start at the beginning. DHL Global Forwarding brought me from Frankfurt to Oceanside, California, and I'm very thankful. It was challenging, but I loved my paradise. I loved Oceanside. I wanted to live there, right? And then in 2001, 2004, they said, look, there's not much European business on the West Coast. But we knew, my wife and I knew we got the green card in 2004. So I didn't want to fight with them. So I left, moved to Charlotte. I picked Charlotte for several reasons. I picked Charlotte, we moved here, but we kept the house, which is another funny story with why we have a house. If we had the time, I would love to talk about it. So we had the house, we rented at the beginning. She gave it to us for 50% of the market value because she liked me so much.
Okay.
This woman had a whole bunch of real estate in California. She was rich. So she gave me the base of the house. I had the house. Now I had to leave it. And I kept the house in Oceanside because I'm saying, honey, when we get the green card, we're going back to paradise. Well, now 1 years later, we are in paradise right here in the Carolinas. So I moved to Carolinas, to Charlotte. And then in 2008, I got a real nice opportunity to join Kühne & Nagel, which is another super big logistics provider. And it was amazing. Had a perfect run. It was really good. But then they changed the direction, which is a good direction for them. It's not my direction. So I didn't feel so comfortable anymore at the end. And then this opportunity came along. So I went from over 80,000 people to 38 without 1,000. And the funny thing is that three of my former colleagues at DHL actually used to work for this company.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I got a warm welcome. It was really nice. And today I can do, again, hands-on logistics, which I absolutely love.
That talks about how you keep reinventing yourself. And the reason why I ask you that question is because it's not easy to leave huge ocean and jump into a pond. And ready to do that, roll up your sleeves and do the hard work and be hands-on again after 25, 30 years in the industry where you can have, easy life. But that talks about volume about your character that, you're ready to reinvent at any point in your life.
So I moved 17 times in my life, which is very unusual for a German. Very unusual. 17, 9 times with my family, my mom and dad. And then at the end by myself, career, studies, whatever it was, right? So it was tough as a child because you have to say goodbye to friends, but it also made me who I am today. And I tell my kids and everybody who's asking why and wasn't it tough? Yes, it was tough. But you could drop me somewhere in the jungle, give me a week, and I know everybody around me. Because that's what I had to do when I was a child. I had to start new bridges, new friendships, new people. I had to find out how to get to school. Walk, bus, bicycle. So these things formed me. And today I love networking. I love to go to everybody, like you said at the beginning, the kind words. I just love when new people show up because they're trying to connect with the group we have already. So give them a warm welcome, give them a big hug, and give them the number and say, hey, if you ever have a question, call me. And that's what I do every day.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I know there are, in your 30, 35 years of career, there have been a lot of moments where, not just professional, but personal life as well, where you face a lot of failures. Who doesn't, right? But what my question is that Tell me few things top of your list where things didn't go as per your plan. And you said you don't complain about things which are not in your control. But I'm getting deeper. I want to get into your mind now. How do you tell yourself that, hey, it's okay? How do you pull yourself up? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because today a bunch of the teens and the 20s and the 30s, kids, they're actually watching it. And in today's day and age, it's a day where you need instant gratification. You fail once, you fail twice, and you think it's the end of the world. But it's very important for people to know that failure is the most important thing in order to achieve whatever you achieve. So talk about few things which didn't go as per your plan, but more importantly, what do you talk to Hans and how do you come out of it?
So I've had quite a bit of challenges in my life. Business-wise, maybe less, because I worked for two huge corporations, because you have policies, you have everything is structured, right? So you just had to basically stay in your boundaries and continue to produce. But then I had challenges in my life, private life. I almost lost my car in a car accident in 2016, which was terrible. And here, remember when I said I can be very logical, get all of a sudden in ice cold mode, but I still am emotional, but I cry outside of that. So that really was a huge challenge for me.
How old was your son?
He was 18. It happened on November 13, 2016, and a drunk driver, we believe he was drunk, drove straight in a curve and hit him almost front. And it was terrible. And we had to fight 4.5 months. I had to fight 4.5 months because the police report was wrong, or not complete, let's put it this way. So for 4.5 months, the police said my son was guilty, and I knew he was not. From what he told me, what I've seen from the car, how they were formed, the damage, I knew he was not. And 4.5 months and 3 police reports, try to change 1 police report. I was able to change 3, and at the end, they said, okay, it's clear. My son was not at fault. But he was in a wheelchair for a little bit, and then he got better and better. He's fine today. He cannot play as well soccer as he used to, but he's very good, So everything worked out. So these challenges, sometimes, yes, at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the evening, I was just, sitting outside and literally cry all night long. And then when you're done, when you get everything off your chest, right, or talk to somebody, then you just, in my head, I always said the same thing. My kids know this and they don't like it. Wake up, get up, and then move. A lot of people wake up. Only waking up is not enough. You have to get up, stand straight, and then you have to move. Even if it's just one little step, you have to move. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So would you say that was a defining moment of the entire shift in your mindset? And the person, do you say Hans 1.0 and Hans 2.0 after that incident?
So 1.0 was work every day. I got up every morning between 4 and 4:15. I went to bed at 11, sometimes even later. Didn't sleep much. Fell asleep when I watched my kids' soccer game or practice, not game, but practice. It was not good. It was not healthy. I gave up way too much for my job. Then I realized I could have been gone, my son could have been gone, and I changed. I still get up early. I'm not 4 anymore. I'm getting old. But I still get up early, and I still take my job extremely serious, and I put all my heart in it. But I definitely want to have my time for my family and for my friends.
Right.
That's very important in my life now. Very important. It was always important, but I always thought we have to have the income. We have to stability, financial stability.
True.
No, your heart has to be stable. And if you have that, you can achieve everything.
I don't know whose quote was this, but they say that you can be happy in any situation. All you have to do is find the source of that happiness. And I'm glad that you found that source. But maybe I'll just spend a couple of minutes on what you said. Wake up, get up, and move. What would you say to a person today starting up in a, let's say, business or job or any profession or any sports, and they fail again, and they fail again. But maybe it's, you call it God, you call it superpower, but it's an energy which is asking them to learn through those failure. And how do they motivate? And they keep talking. Now today, the Hans who's talking, he is, has seen life. Has maturity. But how would a 18-year-old talk to himself or herself and pull up because for them, failure is end of the world?
So I grew up very conservative, okay? My mom and dad were very disciplined, and there was a structure, and You got to do what you got to do. If you came at 6 o'clock p.m., it was dinner time. If you came at 6:02, you would not sit at the table. It's that simple.
Okay.
So be on time.
Okay.
You would get food, but in the kitchen.
I know.
So having said this, I'm very disciplined, or I was extremely disciplined. So for me, it didn't matter if I had only 2 hours of sleep. 4 o'clock, I get up. Period. End of story. Very disciplined. And I just had a conversation with my 17-year-old, maybe she was 16 at that point, about what comes first, discipline or motivation?
Interesting.
She asked me that question. I was
It's like chicken and egg story, right?
I was like, well, you know, so
And she's 17?
she's 17, yeah. But I think this is about a year ago.
Yeah.
So she said, discipline comes first. And I love it because I think I'm very motivated today because motivation comes with a little bit with age. And you love to what you're doing.
Yeah.
If it's football, it's football. If it's job, it's a job, right? The motivation comes a little bit with time too.
Yeah.
You're not jumping in. When you start playing soccer, you don't say I want to be a soccer star.
Yeah.
It comes with time. When
It's
you
just for
realize
the fun of
it's good.
playing, right?
But if you're disciplined and you do every single time, wake up, get up, move. All of a sudden you get into it. All of a sudden you realize, man, I'm getting good at this, or this worked out, and this was a total failure. But you'll hopefully learn from it. If you're disciplined, you get up the next morning, even if the day yesterday was terrible. You get up, you wake up, you get up, you move.
True.
Does that make sense? So
Beautiful,
discipline for me, again, I never thought about this till I had that conversation with my daughter.
Wonderful, wonderful. First of all, thank you so much for selecting this beautiful place. I think it will be doing injustice if we just don't explore this place. How about we walk the talk?
I love it. Absolutely. Let's go.
Let's go. So how long have you been coming here, Hans?
They started in 2009, March 2009, at the old Sugar Creek. No, Sugar Creek, sorry. That was the old OMB. And since day 5, when they opened, I'm here. I just absolutely love it here. This is my second home.
No, this is actually very beautiful. I mean, I've been here a couple of times, but this is the first time I'm coming here where I don't see that rush hour. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's so difficult to find a parking spot. And but I love it here.
That gives me peace and freedom and a good beer.
Yeah, I know. All right, talking about beer and talking about the German connection, I was told that you have the unofficial title of Mayor of Germany. How did that happen? How did you get that?
So
Mayor of Germany?
They say the German Mayor of Charlotte.
German Mayor of Charlotte, yeah.
Well, when I came to the United States, maybe a handful of people helped me, right? And I had no money. And I wanted to tell one person, hey, let me invite you for dinner. And he asked me, no, you don't, Hans, you don't. As a thankful, I just want to say thank you, that's it. And he said, you don't. Just do me one favor. Please help other people when they come to the United States. I don't think he had to say this, but since then I do it and I love it.
Okay.
So what I do is I set up a lot of events. Like say there's a soccer game. I text to about 180 people. Germans, Austrians, Swiss, Americans, doesn't matter. I will text them, hey, let's watch this game there.
I remember watching the FIFA World Cup sitting right there. Where Germany scored the goal at the 89th minute. I don't remember which was.
Okay, I don't remember that
was the semi-final, yeah. It was Müller who scored it. I remember that, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I just love it. And I try to get every Friday, 4 o'clock, we're getting over there, standing tables. If it's snowing, we're 10, 15 people. If it's perfect weather, we have up to 50. We have once 200. I also do welcome to Charlotte. For example, if a German company, Austrian company, or Indian company, doesn't matter. Wherever you are from, I'm arranging for the city of Charlotte.
Very nice.
And for the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance, I'm arranging a nice gathering around 4 or 5 o'clock. The company will come, the foreign direct investor, or if they're coming from, let's say, Michigan, move here, I will arrange everything. I send out an email, I send out text messages, and I get the right people together just to say, hey, welcome to Charlotte.
So not just individual, but also you're helping the companies and getting their tasks done, and who's the bookkeeper or who's the finance guy? Where do I get my water cans from? And
and they ask very simple questions. They maybe want to have flowers in their office. Where do we get the flowers from? Who's taking care of the flowers? When I say flowers, plants.
I understand.
Same with cleaning crew, or sometimes they say, hey, Hans, I need a CFO. Do you know somebody? Well, while I'm pretty well connected in Charlotte, people reach out with a
You can
resume.
you can refer them to us. We can help them find a CFO.
Here we go.
Sorry, guys.
True.
Can't help doing a little sales pitch here.
Yeah, and or they just say, look, Hans, we need this and this and this. Do you have a connection? I might not have the answer, but somebody in my network has it.
Yeah.
I love networking. It's just my energy is my love.
Yeah, I know. I was just telling you the other day when we were talking on the phone that there was a very good quotation, and I actually took a printout, kept in my home office. Your network is your net worth, and I that resonated with me so much. I mean, without network, I'm nothing.
Yep.
You know, and that gives you the power. But I'm glad that you are helping so many people and talking about help. All of us who know you and seeing your LinkedIn profile with the devastation that we faced last year, October, in the Western North Carolina with the flood and everything. How did you got involved in helping? I think you're almost every other weekend.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday, you travel 150 miles up in the mountains, helping people with, I mean, it's better not for me not to talk about it, rather you talk about it. How did you get started? What was the motivation? And what are you seeing there, the ground reality? Because we as an outsider, yes, you know, we have sympathy and we can donate, but you are the one who are actually going there. Nobody's asking you to do it. So what is forcing you to do that? What do you see there? What's the level of devastation that you've seen?
So let's start with how it started.
Yeah.
On Monday, so Hurricane Helene hit on that Thursday to Friday night. On Monday, I got a WhatsApp message from a former colleague of mine in Germany. Her nephew lives in, who I know, lives in Black Mountain. And she only received one message. Please spread the word, we need help. And that was all she got. And after that, silence. And she reached out to Hans, can you go up there to Black Mountain and see if you can find him? And I said,
and this is one of your relative in Germany?
Former colleague.
Former colleague, and her nephew lived
Her nephew lives there. And then I said, they say you can not even get there.
Yeah.
So I have a front wheel drive. There's no way I can get there. Then I thought, you know what? Let's challenge me. Let's find a solution. So I went to a friend, F-150, big truck, 4-wheel drive. Say, hey, can I borrow your truck? He said, yes. Then I saw this big truck and it was empty. But I heard already that they need water, they need diapers, they need medication, they need everything, right? So I just reached out via text to my network. And sure enough, next Venmo and Zelle, it all went to my private account.
Okay.
I could have taken an airplane to Hawaii and had a good time. Next morning, Tuesday, I woke up with $2,600, filled the truck. I spent $1,080 at Costco, drove, heard he's okay, Stefan, but didn't see him, dropped my stuff, and then on Wednesday, with another friend, combined, he had 3,000, I had in total now 7,000 on my private account. So we went up again on Thursday with 5 vehicles, but then I realized, man, they have water. It was still, they had certain things they needed, but they needed this. They needed smiles, they needed happy people.
Manpower,
but they lost
motivation.
Everything. They lost everything. And what I've seen, again, life-changing moment, right? It changed my perspective on my life. I have a house, I have a car, I have everything I want. And I'm complaining because my grass is maybe dying on one side. You know? So, no. So that Sunday, I started with 11 people. Used my LinkedIn, used my network.
I saw that.
Come with me. We went to Marshall, North Carolina. We shoveled mud out of the houses. We looked for memories, like picture frames with the wife, the husband, grandchildren, whatever. And we did this. And then the next Sunday, we went back to Marshall with 30, I think 4 or 6 people. And since then, we're doing it every Sunday, unless it's raining. Because we're running a lot of chainsaws now, and it's dangerous. And I don't want to get anybody hurt.
So on an average, you have, because of your network, you have pulled a lot of people. And every Sunday, what, like 8, 9 of you guys are going?
So lately, we're looking at the lowest we ever had was 4. But the last weekends, I would say, 2 months, we're looking at 8 to 12. Last Sunday was 12. And people always ask me,
I may join you for one of those Sundays.
Please,
absolutely.
Please, bring your community and bring your family, man.
I'll have my kids as well. I mean, the young
people ask me, why are you doing this, Hans? You have 4 kids. You have a lot going on at home, which is a different story. You have kind of a stressful job. You're heading leadership for the German community. You do a lot of things. Why are you going? You're coming back to my start. I came with $1,870. My landlord was able to sell me the house. I owned a house in San Diego. America gave me a chance to fulfill my dream. Guess what? Now it's payback time.
Yeah.
Payback time. And nothing better than Western North Carolina mountains, where I spent so much time.
True.
I went to the Green River. I went to Asheville. I went to so many places and I enjoyed it. Now it's destroyed. They still in Pensacola, not Florida, North Carolina, nobody knows that place. They still have no cell phone service.
Till now?
No, they have no cell phone service. You go there, everything's broken. The last Sunday was perfect because we couldn't go 2 Sundays because of the rain. So it was a longer break. We have seen the first time heavy equipment, the first time people did something. And I don't even know who it was, FEMA, military, I don't know. But first time I was smiling because finally somebody's coming and really helped them in Pensacola.
I can imagine what you're talking about. Like, for example, personally, I'm connected with a charitable trust called Smile Train, where kids born with cleft, I make sure that, whatever limited that I could do, I get their surgery done. It costs like $250 for a kid, because if you see all the milk bottles and everything, they don't have those nipples in the milk bottle suited for a cleft, a kid born with cleft and things like that. Malnutrition, people die. And we're not talking about US or India or any developed countries. I mean, you're talking about countries in Africa where they don't have the basic necessity, and Smile Train is helping. So I can relate to that but again, sitting in my house and comfort in my couch, I can donate money. But what you are just doing, what you just said, bringing smile, talking to them, eating with them, that takes you to another level.
Last Sunday, I almost get tears in my eyes when I talk about this. We went to Angelica. She calls her name herself Angie. Angie just lost her husband to brain cancer a week before we came. And we have a couple of females and guys who are really good with talking. And while we were working and trying to help her, she was talking to our teammates. And I think that was way more help than us running the chainsaw and carrying all these trunks away and making sure our house looks somewhat better. But it's just, I met so many good people. Not only our team, the people I've never met in my life. They're sacrificing their Sunday. And they're there every single Sunday. Those people are amazing. They're now real close friends of mine. But we also meet the people we're helping. George, 95 years old, I think it was 95 or 93. He asked us for one favor. Before his wife, which was brought to a hospital with a helicopter, before the wife comes back, he wants the house to look a little bit better. He had 2 trees on his house. Wow. We went 2 Sundays, and the second Sunday, Wilma was there, and she was standing on the front porch, and she was so happy, and tears were running. It's a very emotional moment.
I can totally get it.
I'm going home, everything hurts, but I got so much energy out of it. It's amazing.
Get up, move.
Here we go.
Right?
Yeah.
Good stuff. So now let's make the moment a little light. All right. It's really encouraging what you've done, but I really want to see the other part of Hans also that I've seen in Friday 4 o'clock here is we have something called a quick rapid fire round. And the rule is very simple. You don't get enough time to think about it. Whatever answers that comes to your mind, you got to talk about that. Are you game for that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
For the rapid fire, can I have the paper?
Yeah, you will have it once we are done asking you the questions. All right, are you game?
Game on, my friend. Game on. Let's do it.
All right. So the rule is very simple, Hans. I'm going to be asking you a few questions. I don't have a gift hamper to give you, but I can treat you to the best beer available here.
Hey, trust me, after this, I'm ready for a beer.
All right. Whatever that comes to your mind, let's try and know you, okay?
Okay.
All right, good. If you could eat only one meal for the rest of your life, German or American, and why?
Can I say Turkish? No, German, you said.
Happy life, happy wife.
Happy.
I know where you're coming
Happy
from.
wife, happy life.
All right. What's the most German thing about you?
My discipline.
All right. Something about your work. If you could change one thing about international shipping, what would that be?
Right now, tariffs.
Oh, well, good. What's the funniest misunderstanding you have had with a client?
That was a language barrier, clear language barrier, where my English wasn't good. And I said something which used the word please. I please you to do this. This is basically translate word for word from German and English, and it was hilarious.
And this small flag, okay.
She got a little bit red.
I can imagine.
It was not good.
What's your guilty pleasure when you're not working and working with the communities?
My guilty pleasure.
Yeah. What do you do when you are not working, job, or you're not?
Literally right now, since we just talked about October 6th, I absolutely enjoy going to the mountains.
Okay.
I cannot wait for the Friday meetings. But I have to say, I'm spending time with, especially now my daughter, she's the last one in the house. Spending time with her, it just makes me happy.
Okay. The most confusing American phrase that you have heard?
No, that's kind of I please you to do this.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. If you could ship, and most of my questions is logistic-wise, if you can see.
Okay.
If you could ship one item from Germany to the US forever, what would that be?
Only one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a Porsche 911, but filled with a lot of German beer.
All right. You don't like the
I love, but it's not enough.
I know.
We have only
I know.
2 places in Charlotte.
Okay. Let's see. What was the last thing you Googled?
An address to the dry cleaner. I Google literally, I know the way, but I do Google Maps or Google, click on directions because you never know with traffic.
Wonderful. With that, I think you got 100 out of 100 in my rapid fire round. Hans, good job.
It was a pleasure, and yes, we both have deserve no beer.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
but thank you so much. On a lighter note, thank you so much, for being part of this podcast. It's a small little effort from my side to help somebody, a young Indian guy or a young German guy sitting in Berlin or sitting in Bangalore and watching this and getting motivated and can say that if Hans can do that, if RJ can do what he's doing, not that we have done 100 things, but whatever limited that we have done, and if we can make one person to get up, wake up and move, I'll think it to be a win.
It's that simple. Your last podcast I saw, it inspired me. So I'm 55 years old, and it takes a little bit to inspire me again to do something different. But I'm trying to get more healthy because of that podcast.
Wonderful.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Your work.
With that, 2 beer, please.
Yes.
Let's go. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Hans, thank you so much for bringing not just your logistic wisdom, but also your heart, humor, and that signature German flair to this entire conversation. You reminded us that leadership isn't just about strategy. It's about service, showing up, and maybe even hauling a few boxes along the way. To all our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to Midday with Ranjay. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that follow button, share it with someone who could use a dose of inspiration or just a good laugh. On a personal note, Hans, you have been one of those rare people who made me feel at home when I was still figuring it out. Having you on this podcast is more than just an episode. It's a full circle moment for me. Thank you for always being there for us. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, the best people and packages always show up on time.